The sounds of guns, familiar in a country that has been torn apart by civil war. Women and children are fleeing and leaving everything behind to start a new life in the refugee camps. Neighboring countries have had to deal with the influx of refugees and the challenges facing their own people. In Johannesburg, African minds gathered to try and find a solution.
Any solution of the Sudan crisis, which must last, must be owned by the Sudanese people. Critically important, it must be Sudanese owned. And I think it's correct. Certainly in this country, that was our own view, our own transition out of apartheid. All of us here will remember, for instance, the resolution 435 of the Security Council of Namibia. Set up a whole UN process which must lead to the independence of Namibia. We were very afraid of 435 because we didn't know what these other people would bring into this solution. So we said it must be South African owned. And I think Ambassador is correct. The Sudanese solution must be Sudanese owned.
This event that brought together over 60 prominent figures from across the continent concluded with the outcomes aimed at addressing issues of peace and security in Africa. The conference outlined a special report and policy brief that will lead to the planning and implementation of the inaugural Peace and Security Dialogue that is expected to take place in Johannesburg in September this year, and a frank assessment of the AU.
In February next year, the AU will elect a new commission. And there's a decision that this must rotate among the regions. So the first region is East Africa. So East Africa must produce the candidate or candidates for this position. And Kenya has said Raila Odinga is a candidate, their candidate. And I'm saying that we persuaded then President Konare of Mali to take over the chairpersonship of the commission. He agreed and he was elected. The problem is that it was impossible for President Konare to work with the rest of the commissioners because he's the president. He can't allow these people, to tell him what's right and what's wrong. And even in terms of consultation, he would have very good ideas. He doesn't discuss them with the commission. I was still president, so he phones me. President, I've got this excellent idea like this and that and that. I say, it's a very good idea. Then he phoned half a dozen other Africans. And out comes a policy proposal from Addis Ababa. The rest of the commission doesn't know anything about it. But he's able to carry this thing, Konare, because he's talking to other former colleagues of his. It's not because the person is bad. Konare is not a bad person. Neither is Raila. But I think the practice, that's you develop a particular practice in these high positions of state. But that's an issue that's going to arise immediately. There's a crisis in the AU Commission now. My sense, my feeling, is that the organization is actually dying, the AU. Let me take the conflict in Sudan. Where is the AU?
8.6 million people have been displaced, including 4 million children, and over 14,000 women, men, and children have reportedly been killed during this conflict. Sophie Mkwena, SABC News, Johannesburg.